Hello, my name is Sarah Gable, and I am a senior at Kansas State University, and today I'm going over my place-based lesson plan. So a place-based lesson plan is a lesson plan that you can take out in your community, and I've chosen for mine to make this a real-life experience and for us to look in a multi-curricular area as well. My social studies standards is how societies experience continuity and change over time. My science standard is the use of a model to represent the relationship between the needs of different plants or animals, including humans, and the places they live. And lastly, this also touches English, and my English standard is with guidance and support from adults, respond to questions and suggestions from peers, and to add detail to strengthen their writing as needed. So this is a kindergarten lesson plan. The name of this lesson plan is Learn Your Play and Surroundings. So students will be asking questions. Their main thoughts will be, where does my food come from? And what does it need to grow? So this is a great multi-curricular lesson plan because it covers social studies, English, and science. It has a main focus almost on science, but emphasizing on the place. That also can be, plants and how, people have moved around for the resources of food and medicine. So we're going to talk about that as well. So the learning objectives is that students will learn where food comes from and how plants grow under certain conditions. So I'm going to jump down. So preparation for this lesson plan, students need to know what are the functions of plants? What do they need to grow? Do they need water? Do they need food? And that needs to be connected to us as humans to meet let me double check. That goes ahead and meets our science standard as well. That is a great way to have that conversation. And another thing that you could pull up as a resource would be My Plate. You can look at, what are we supposed to be eating? What are foods that we might think of for this assignment? To start this lesson, students need to be asked questions, what do you eat? Where does your food come from? Are these healthy? Are these unhealthy? And I would allow my students to have a chart and have, you might have papers with your food on the back and have them separate up into, is this healthy? Is this not healthy, and why? That question needs to be asked. So I would pair my students up and just allow them to try until they get it right and get them to reason with you, why are those food sources nutritious for my body? So for the next step of this, you need to explain the connections plants have to history and how they are a tool for people, how they are used for healing purposes. There is a resource of Kids Growing Strong, and this there's some situations in there that shows how people have moved because of drought and how, food resources really are important because it's, some of our needs that need to be met. So students at the kindergarten age level need to understand where some of those things come from. Another aspect of history that could be used, and I have this in my lesson plan, read the book out loud, do a read aloud, Dust for Dinner, and see how the lack of rain impacted that family. So next, to get students to start understanding, what food is, how it is important to us, and how that connects. So next, students will, in Vega, Texas, where I live, we have a community garden. A few ladies take care of our community garden, which at this point in time right now, it probably is not functioning very well. So this needs to be something that you do probably at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year. So students will have to either draw a map, or you as the teacher would create a map of your certain garden, and students need to locate, where is my vegetables, where are my fruits, where are these items. So on one page they will mark those, and then on the back I want you to do an investigative item with your child. What does it look like? What do you think it tastes like? Is this in the sun? Is this placed purposely in the sun, or is it is this something that's growing underground? Those questions need to be asked and recorded, so your child will probably likely to need a hard surface to write on. So allow, when you get back, this will be the middle of your lesson plan, allow students when they get back to have the volunteers come in and explain to them what they did to have this successful garden. What did they need to do? And so this is something that you could do on your intro. Write down questions that you might have and see if this is something that is still a question, and allow those women to talk and educate students on how come they have a successful garden. And to wrap up this activity, I would allow students to taste the items so that they can use their scientific exploration and answer, was this an item? Did I think that it was going to taste sweet? Did I think that the texture would be the same? And this is another activity at the end. You could allow students just to have a cup and put some soil in it and a seed and water it. That is something that you could end very well with, but have a bell work to allow students to go ahead and say, allow them to place their location and see, is this sunlight effective, or is this the right place it needs to be? So this relates to our assessment because students will be noticing the location of plants, their physical features, and they will have, a tasting of the items so they conclude their investigation. And also, when they grow their plants, that allows them to answer most of those questions. So they're seeing this is such, having a place. There is many ways social studies can reach those multi-curricular plans because there's so much going on with this assignment. This is something that would need to be a full day lesson plan and something that could be continued over, and it just gives kids such a real experience of why this is important, why we need to know what our surroundings are like. So if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer. This is something that I made up to be in my hometown, and thank you for watching.